Oh no, Komachi. I have a lot to say about this character, but I'm not gonna say it like at the start of the video because I'm gonna be talking for a while. What you just need to know is if you played Samurai Remnant, you know who you have seen what divine spirit she is incarnating. You had to carve this statue a whole bunch of times. Senju Kamon, one of the Bodhisattvas. That's right. Oh, damn. Oh, there we go. Yeah, no, it's early in the morning. I'm not as stiff, so I can't crack my knuckles like I usually do. But yeah, if you played Samurai Remnant, you've carved this statue of Senju Kamon multiple times just to get money and like XP. Base stack 11.4k, not a bad number, but she is a caster, so negative damage modifier. And this is also on the lower end for 5 stars, but it could always be worse. She could have 9,000 base attack, and then we would be having a very different conversation, because then her oversaturation on power mods, MP damage, that part of the formula becomes way worse. Because this character doesn't have attack buffs, if you're not going to be running her with like Ruler Scotty or another support that can give her a massive attack buff, like say Neurobride, but she also gives another power mod too, so careful with that one. Yeah, like you might want to grail her to 100 if you think you're gonna experience damage issues, and the higher attack would just work better with all her other scaling. But if you can get more attack buffs into her damage is just gonna go up a lot more than you think. It's still kind of early. We don't have the grailed numbers. Not yet anyway. But is okay. MP charge 0.8%. I'm gonna bring up Alice like right now. Alice's MP is 7 hits, and I believe it's 0.51. This is only off the top of my head because I tried to record this like 3 times yesterday. Yeah, so 0.51 and 7 hit. She has nothing in here for high MP gain besides her own. Yeah, 30%. Daikokuten 0.5, 9 hit MP, and she also has the MP gain. So numbers wise, you would think, okay, so this character 0.8 times this is like basic, bitch. 0.8 times 6 is 4.8. And 0.51 times 7 is 3.57, and then you have to have the MP gain, but like even 30% of that is only 3.8 something, 3.9, so that's still lower than this. Then we go to Daikokuten, 0.55 times 9 is oh my god, I'm doing my math in my head right now. It's like 0.494 or something around there, and then you times. So yeah, her closest competition in refund wise is Daikokuten base to base, but then they both have mechanics for getting extra charge than what this number would say. So we're gonna just keep going now. One of the reasons I wanted to wait this long for this video to come out was just to see this Ascension artwork and to get these traits. So what really changed between Ascension 1 and 2 is the fact that she counts as a non-Hamididae servant and also a levitating servant in this Ascension. This is important because non-Hamididae is most servants in the game, and for a good long time, non-Hamididae. Oh my god. No, okay, so I'm a dumbass, and for some reason was thinking non-Hamididae was non-humanoid. So glad I'm re-recording this now. Yes, Non-Himididae just means they were not human, or they do not count as human. And you can see here, the reason they're non-Himididae is because they're now a goddess servant. They do not count as a human. In this case, this is Senjukamon, like fully incarnating, so they don't count as a human servant anymore. They basically had an ascension. Right. Hit counts: 4 hits on quick, 3 hits on arts, 3 hits on buster, and a 5-hit extra attack. The quick cards, they are not bad, but it would have been better if they had a higher hit count. Just been 5. It does, like, with the game, can't English right now. With this gain, 4-hit quick with like all of them critting is pretty fucking nasty. Like those other two, like Daikokuten and Alice, I believe have 5 hits. Yes, Alice has 5 hits. Daikokuten also has 5. So it would have been nice if her face cards were a little better, but she's technically more focused on MP than she is face cards. But like, you're still not gonna say no to like more refund, right? Yeah, so in terms of extra attacks, this one is like pretty good. This thing, if you do a mighty chain, is gonna refund a lot. And if you do a mighty chain, you do take advantage of all of her first skills buffs. So let's talk about that first skill. First part of it, Omni card buff to all 3 card types, but it's capped at 20%. This alone makes her compatible with Yui Shosetsu. And just bring her up real quick. Attack up, arts up, buster up. And if you have higher copies, these numbers just look a lot better. But yeah, the easy access to getting this awesome MP when shows up on when she gets on rate up for NA. I'm probably gonna try to get her MP5 if possible, but I don't know about that because she goes in. I like the character, but I don't know if I really need to get her again, is all I'm saying. All right, so second part of this skill, the most important part. Charges gauge 10% per enemy when attacking with quick cards. So her MP's flat refund if you hit 3 enemies is 30%. Just flat. Most quick servants get like 20 after the MP. And for Voyager, it's like for the party. For her, just flat 30. And then she still has, if you don't kill the enemy, she can still use her other quick cards, and she still gets 10% flat for those quick cards. So refund for her usually isn't going to be an issue. I did all the calcs for her on Chaldea or Laplace, and I actually have those numbers memorized. You can check them for yourself in Laplace or just doing it yourself in game, but this is something I remember very clearly from yesterday. But going on with the rest of the skill, and then we're moving on. If you attack with an arts card, you get a one-time one-turn dodge, and if you attack with buster, you get ignore evasion for a turn. So ideally, you are gonna want to do buster, MP, arts if you're gonna do like try to get all of these effects in one turn. That is what you're gonna want to do in like a boss fight. So even though this character has heavy implications towards farming, her implications towards CQs and boss fights is still very much there, especially with her MP. One of the normal effects from the MP. And this note here is just saying that this part is the same as Salter's, except unlike Salter, there is no hit count restriction of the number of quick cards you can do before this caps out. It is flat 3 turns. So you can literally do NP quick, and you will still have this for 2 more turns. While if Salter did that, she would be up Shit's Creek with no paddle. Not to mention she only has 2 buster cards, so good luck on her other turns either. Yeah, Salter's farming gets fucked up if she uses her Buster Face cards at all. Like, she gets fucked up really, really badly. Second skill, and this gives way to the alternative farming comp that I saw someone post on YouTube. I didn't come up with this. I just saw this like in my recommendation. I don't have that creators. I don't have their channel off the top of my head. But basically they use Ruler, Scotty, and Vitch. Basically to showcase like cooldown reduction is actually a thing with this character. And if you care less about damage and more about like pure refund, especially with the Bond CE and what that does for her, you might want to just go to do the cooldown reduction comp and use it like very similar to how you use Kook Caster with Atlas Mysticode. How you just use Vitch and Oberon from your support list. Like it's essentially the same type of shit. You just choose instead of a Oberon, you'd be using a Ruler Scotty. But yeah, this skill specifically in a vacuum, you can choose who gets the cooldown reduction, increased star weight, and a 50 battery. The reason you really want to do this on her is because this is a base 7 with pen 5. This goes down to 6. So if you do this on her, 5. So you just need a little bit more cooldown reduction, and then you would be able to pop all of her skills either on the first turn, or double pop all the skills on the first turn, or be able to get the double pop on the third turn. It kind of just depends on if you're trying to double stack this and get 60% if you're fighting 3 enemies. At that point, most quick units are either... I don't want to say most of them are looping 100% at that point, because there are a lot of quick servants that can't loop like 40%. There are a lot of them. Achilles, Alice, Cosra Drop. These are characters that, like, if you give them like 2 Scotties, like they still might not be looping 50%. That's kind of how bad their refund is. Oh no, Komachi has actual good refund, so yeah, if she's getting 60 flat, she's probably not having any issues. She has to get like 13% max, or 13% from like enemies. And if she's, again, farming trash mobs, she's not gonna have a shortage of overkill. Third skill is what gives a little bit of problems to her damage numbers. This is a heavy oversaturation in power mods. If you're not hitting these niches, or at least hitting one of these, especially if you're double stacking, if you don't hit these niches, her damage is not going to be good. Like, Black Rail becomes a necessity, not a luxury, if you do not hit these power mods. Because 150% power mod is no fucking joke. This is almost more than what Oberon doubling a Black Rail would be if you actually manage to hit all 3. Now, because Shadow Servant is here, a lot of the damage is going to be relegated to like farming either events or free quests. However, Evil is a very huge chunk of the game, probably more than 33%, but I don't want to say 50% because there is other alignments than Evil and Good. But Undead, you can literally make any enemy in the game undead because of Summer Wu Zetian. This is the same exact shit that you do with Shisho. And hey, if you're actually trying to do cooldown reduction and have good damage, you double stack this. Wu Zetian dies, and then like your other supports die, and like you get more. Like if you do it esports, you can like output like really good damage for this. Also because she does not like stun enemies or prevent them from taking actions. Like, she actually does function pretty well in like esports, unlike someone like Count of Monte Cristo, which literally does not work in esports because the enemy should not be like moving. MP damage is here in case you do use Oberon. This is something he can double. He cannot double any of this. So if you double MP damage with Oberon, hey, this number gets higher than any one individual power mod. but you would want to be hitting as many as possible. So in normal farming, this is not going to come up for the highest health enemy, more likely just the trash mobs. These two are most likely to line up together in normal farming. But again, take it as you will. You kind of just have to know the enemies, just like if you have a character with super effective. If you want to use them in the best place, you have to know what enemies are earth and which are human or sky or any other alignment. Passive skills, 4% debuff success rate, 10% arts, and this is Bodhisattva Incarnate. And it's just why this third ascension is such a big jump from where she was before. Like we are literally talking. Okay, so I didn't read the event, so I don't actually know if. I'm pretty sure Senju Kamon is using her as the vessel, like a pseudo servant. Very similar to a pseudo servant, but I think the divinity spiked up even higher than. Yeah, I feel like the divinity might have spiked a little higher than someone like Parvati. That's kind of how I'm seeing it. I just want to like double check like Parvati, specifically. Yeah, like and then Ishtar. Yeah, so very different from like Ishtar and like Parvati, because those are using those are pseudo servants. This is basically like this would basically be the servant. This would basically be the equivalent, but a servant as the base, not a living human. That's why she like is showing divine spirit and goddess servant, while Ishtar and Parvati both do not have that trait. Oh yeah, you know what? One last test for that before we keep moving on. So Kama specifically. Yes, no, even Kama that has an almost beast servant graph does not have divine servant and goddess servant anywhere here. So I believe something like this is reserved to like, again, most of this is because like I didn't read the lore or read the event, but I'm assuming that this has a lot to do with like how like the composition of the servant. So yeah, enough lore. Let's move on to the append and finish up this video. All right, so if you want to do any kind of cooldown reduction stuff, you need to have this unlocked. It's kind of non-negotiable. Yeah, you have to have this, otherwise a lot of performing just does not work, or doesn't work as intended. Mana loading, you have this for events and you just need a 30% battery. You don't need to wait for 50. You can pretty much just go off rip. This is kind of just if you're doing extra attacks, extra damage against casters. I mean, like, if she's fighting mixed enemies and she has more attack against casters, she does get more refund. Like, she gets to overkill a lot quicker on the class that would give her the most refund per MP. So I don't want to say you should do this, but there is a point to getting this. All right. MP, 6-set AoE quick, inflicts curse, healing received down 30%. This lasts for 5 turns, so you can easily ramp this up to above 100%, meaning the enemy, if I'm not mistaken, does not heal. They heal, and you'll just see a like green 0 on the enemy. And my god, if you're fighting like Demeter, would that have been like very funny to look at? A couple years ago, when you just like start the game, like you're just cruising through the story, get the Lost Belt 5, and oh shit, Oh shit, I know Demeter gave a lot of people problems. But yeah, after the healing receive, there is a self-regenerating debuff. And this just rips off their latest buff. And you can stack this up. Yes, you can have 3 of... Sorry. This is another reason I'm glad I did not release the other review, because I did not look at this part. You can stack this up to fucking 5 at once. You can rip off 5 buffs per turn from the enemy. That is so fucking stupid. It is hilarious. As long as you can keep her NPing, you are suppressing the enemy fire so much. In like more sustained fights, this is gonna save you a lot, because the enemy is just not gonna be doing like a high amount of damage. Like they're unless their buffs are unremovable, they pretty much have to use what they got. And if they spend any actions just buffing themselves up, literally wasted the action. This lasts for 5 fucking turns, so honestly, this is just disgusting for like any kind of like boss and CQ stuff where you know the enemy is going to be like buffing themselves up. They are going to be wasting so many turns, so you just take less damage. Is that a hit to a refund? Kinda, but like it also depends. Like if you're not fighting someone with a lot of AoE attacks, then yeah, like if you're fighting someone with AoE attacks, like they might not have a lot of hit counts in that attack. And if they're single target, even lower case of her getting refund from that. But as I said earlier, like her as an AoE quick caster is not being compared to Alice that has poor refund. This is being compared to Daikokuten that has really good refund. Oh my god, I was wondering this in the formula. Holy shit, I also ignored this part. Oh my god. Yeah, her OC is MP damage. So again, she has 50% MP damage and 50% power mods. This is something I completely ignored when I last talked about this servant. Holy shit. Yeah, I'm always glad when I do these retakes, because I missed something that I didn't do yesterday. Okay, Bon CE. 30% MP damage and insta-kill success rate 100%. I didn't say this last part of it, but she has a 60% chance to insta-kill. Now, this happens after damage, so she does not have the same issues that Summer Nitocris has, or like had, or Summer or regular Nitocris has right now. But Nitocris, their farming is different. Like her is different. So for I would say for comps that involve cooldown reduction, you would probably just be running this Bon CE, but you wouldn't be trying to make the servant a grand servant. I know I've been putting that on the thumbnail for a lot of videos lately, but this one I would not want to run this and Black Rail at the same time, because again, we're oversaturation in MP damage, and that part of the formula, like we're talking like really dumb numbers, and half of them can't be doubled by Oberon. So you're kind of in a weird place. Although I think at that point you have enough MP damage that you actually do hit the cap if you like start hitting more than one of these traits. But yeah, like in terms of like normal farming, like you can't use Grand Servant for farming. They already said it was going to be for special quests, so that's another reason. Like I would not bring this Bonsi and Black Rail into a special quest. It's just like you're probably not going to be insta-killing. So let me go over the numbers off the top of my head. I'm going to use this sheet, even though it's very much out of date. And again, I'll start working on maybe not my sheet, but my doc relatively soon. So, oh no, Komachi. Also, yeah, let me bring MP damage up first. So, base MP damage. Out damages Alice's base. And obviously still out damages Daikokuten's base. But again, she is very heavy in MP damage, power mods. And also she doesn't have any crit in her kit. even though she's a quick servant. The reason being is because power mods are in the same part of the formula as crit damage. So essentially, she does have, like, she has 50% crit damage in her own kit, only if she's hitting one of her traits. But if she hits 2 of her traits, this is her damage, and then 3 traits here. Something to note, her damage is pretty much identical with Alice when Alice is fully ramped up. However, Alice has super effective. She scales far better than oh no Komachi. Like, even though these damage numbers are pretty much the same, this is only with their own buffs. Alice has a lot of attack in her own kit. She can be run with Black Rail. She just functions better with Oberon. And yeah, she's like so less, she's just brute forcing refund anyway, that you can really just go all in on damage for Alice. While Ono no Komachi, damage is definitely going to be an issue, but you can use her in more places. So now that you have like the normal base numbers, let me talk about MP like farming. So in triple Scotty setups, 2 ruler Scotties, 1 caster, her damage is here. It's higher than here on a negative class modifier. When I tested it, it was on the treasure node. She was doing 194,000 with a 0.9 enemy disadvantage because the enemy is Sky. And oh no Komachi, wait, was it the class modifier or? Yeah, definitely check my work, but I remember she hit like 94,000 in triple Scotty. In double ruler Scotty Oberon, her damage was like 240,000, again with the negative class modifier. So well higher than here. And double Vitch Oberon damage, like old Tonalico, that's where she's hitting. Or like for arts, yeah, no, better to compare her to arts than Buster. So Anastasia is her closest comparison that's on this list. I know this is like, again, out of date, so I don't know how much is like, I don't have the more recent numbers, but take that as you will. And then when you're doing cooldown reduction, she doesn't go past 100,000. Again, that is with a negative class modifier. However, keeping that in mind, 100,000 neutral is still more than most free quest enemies are. You go, like, speaking specifically about NA, you go through Lost Belt 7, all those free quest nodes, like, look at the HP pool. It's like 30,000, 40,000, and like 80,000 or 100,000 if they're like a berserker or something. Like, you don't need like 300,000 damage if you're just free quest farming. Like, at most, like, if you're doing class advantage, you need like 50,000. That is most of these characters on turn 1. So if you're gonna mess around with a comp like that, I say go for it. Because, like, think about this. You need Atlas Mystic Code, a Bond CE that is 9 cost, like, your support is 16, and then oh no, Komachi is 16. So right there, that is only a cost of 41. You have 3 characters in your backline and 4 CE slots. If all of the CEs, extra CEs, are 4 stars, that's another 48. So your cost is at 89. So you have 80, whatever your cost is subtracted by 89, and you have that amount of cost to split between 3 characters in your backline. Me, I'm at 116. No, sorry, I'm not at 116 cost yet. I'm at 115. So for me, that is 26 cost. So yeah, I can run 2 4 stars and a 2 star in the back line. and then I would be good to farm those. While no Komachi like farms, like pretty much farms them pretty easily through like most requests. So is this a character you need to summon for? Nope. Is this a fun character? Yep. That's just kind of it. Sorry for how long this video went on. I kind of just wanted to get it out. Peace.
Thank you for making it to the end of this video. If you enjoyed, drop a like or sub. Hope to see you in the next one. Peace.